DC films are in dire straits and the days of the Dark Knight feel so long ago, but in 2024, could DC finally have their next big masterpiece? With corporate meddling, hostile takeovers, and the dawn of a new cinematic universe ahead of us, as a DC fan, it's practically been bad luck to get excited about new projects these days. But with the debut of the trailer for Joker Folie à Deux, I'm thinking we're back.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Hi, I'm your host Rob, and on this episode of Atomic Vision, today's special guest is Lego Joker. He's definitely the most harmless Joker we could have gotten. We almost had Jongleur as a guest, but thankfully he's just too stupid to show up. With CinemaCon having wrapped up, Joker 2 pretty much dominated the event with one of the best trailers I've seen in a very long time. And with all of the excitement around the trailer still in the air, it had me thinking about how weird this movie's production history has been up until now. All of the rumors leading up to the trailer had many people wondering if this was some sort of elaborate prank.
Oh, no, you cannot joke about that.
Yeah, that's not funny.
When Joker came out in 2019, I'll be honest, while Joaquin definitely earned his Best Actor Oscar, as a big fan of the film, it's kind of problematic, to say the least.
They don't give a shit about people like you, Arthur.
It makes light of mental health issues and unintentionally blames everyone but the main character. But if you can disassociate from its issues and look at it as a silly film,
I forgot to punch out.
it's still really enjoyable. It's goofy, over the top, and it's visually one of the best looking comic book films, hands down. So shortly after Joker's massive box office draw and Oscar win, we all knew that a sequel was just around the corner. And with the future release of The Batman in 2022, I don't think any of us could have predicted that Todd Phillips' next big idea was to turn his Joker sequel into a musical.
Nobody serenades you but me, Bat. Take it away, boys. Take me on home to the asylum.
That rumor alone made everyone go, what the f***? And with the casting of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn confirmed, the rumors felt more accurate day by day. Why was Joker 2 a musical? Why wasn't it a crime drama or a gangster film? Then the trailer released, and now everything makes perfect sense. The biggest complaint of the original Joker film, beyond its misunderstanding of mental health issues, nearly every person who watched Joker complained that it was just a Scorsese ripoff.
What?
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 What? Nothing. You said what first?
I didn't say what first. I asked you what.
No, you said and then what, and I said what?
No, I said what? Like what?
You said what first?
Now you're making fun of me?
No.
I personally don't care that much, as the film made enough changes to make itself feel a bit different, but the comparisons are undeniable. So this newest film had to not only live up to the hype, but everyone was curious if the complaints were going to be acknowledged. And it surprisingly was. By making Joker Folie à Deux a musical, it completely detaches itself from the Scorsese comparisons and now stands as something a bit unique. Albeit it's now the weirdest sequel idea imaginable, but hey, at least it's unique now. And to be frank here, this movie is not a traditional musical like the upcoming Wicked adaptation. This is what many are referring to as a jukebox musical, which basically means it's going to be more like Baby Driver, a movie with a lot of songs, but nobody's actually singing. Granted, in this case with the casting of Gaga, there's definitely going to be one or two songs sung, but the trailer heavily implies it's a jukebox musical. I think this slight genre remix might be one of the best decisions Todd Phillips could have ever made, and it has everything to do with how he is reinterpreting Harley Quinn. But what's even cooler than that is if you leave a like on this video. Here's a fun fact. Todd Phillips was almost the CEO of DC Studios. Back when Black Adam was supposed to change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe, WB was looking for their own Feige, and one of the people they were begging to take the job was none other than Todd Phillips. He obviously turned down the job, but the question now is, why? And the answer has everything to do with this new Joker sequel. With the original Joker film, Todd Phillips wanted to deconstruct the clown prince of crime until he was nothing more than a scared little man with a troubling and dark complex. This is what Todd Phillips finds entertaining because the original film is anything but faithful to the comics. While the movie has nods to The Killing Joke, it is still a fully original reinterpretation of Joker with a brand new alias to boot too. So Todd Phillips turned down the DC Studios job because I don't think he's interested in deconstructing every DC character. There's more creative freedom in doing whatever you want than having to follow the source material by the book. And this right here is why Joker 2 might be DC's next big masterpiece. Joker Folie à Deux seems to be Todd Phillips' excuse to recreate the mad love storyline for Joker and Harley, but with a new twist to it. From the trailer, it is clear that Harley Quinn will not be Joker's therapist like she's traditionally known for. Instead, she'll be a patient at Arkham just like Joker, and this key change makes a world of a difference. Because they'll be on the same playing field of madness, Harley doesn't have to be an abused sidekick like she used to be back in the day. Now she could be her own type of villain, and how she'll intertwine with Joker here reminds me a lot of Telltale's variants of Harley and Joker.
Just think, you could come into work on Monday dressed just like me.
Is this some kind of joke?
In the Telltale Batman games, you meet a proto-Joker who goes by the name John Doe, and much like the Todd Phillips film, John Doe isn't your average Joker variant. In the Telltale games, he's kind of sweet.
Oh, that's the stuff.
Yeah, Telltale took a pretty big gamble making their Joker an unhinged softie, but this slight change honestly made the character one of the best depictions of the Joker ever.
How'd you two meet?
Same way you and I met. In Arkham. She found me at a dark time and gave me a reason to live out here and experience all this. I don't see how we aren't destined to be together.
Everything about him goes against what is traditionally known about the character, and it makes this interpretation fresh and fun. But it doesn't just stop there, because in the sequel game, we meet Telltale's Harley, and I have a feeling Joker 2 will be heavily inspired by this variant.
Sorry I'm late. Traffic was murder.
I absolutely love Telltale's reimagining of Harley. Unlike the many past depictions of the character, Telltale's Harley isn't the ditzy punching bag fans are used to. She is scary, tough, and more menacing than Joker ever is in the game.
That's a pretty good reason. I like a guy who's good with his hands. I'm just joshing you, rich boy.
This dynamic shakeup, although a small reversal, ends up leading to so many creative and silly character arcs for these legendary comic book figures. I personally think Todd Phillips is going to incorporate bits of this into the new film. Although it's hard to tell right now if Joker and Harley truly leave Arkham in the film, or if it's a figment of their imagination, but the shots of the two of them in full clown makeup leads us to believe this isn't going to be a romance for the ages. It means war. DC, despite its attempts in the past to be faithful to comic book heritage, always seems to gain adulation when it moves away from the norms. The Dark Knight reinvented the Joker for an entire generation that is unlike anything we had seen before. And while Joker in 2019 played with these ideas in easier ways by using Taxi Driver as the blueprint, Joker 2 seems to be branching out to new territory that finally feels new again. Inspired by Singing in the Rain, it's obvious that old Hollywood will be this film's new muse, but at the very least, it won't be a blueprint anymore, just a jumping off point. With the larger-than-life sets, cinematic detours, and intimate moments between the characters, the opportunity to let these characters shine in a way audiences weren't expecting could be the change that comic book films need to be massive again. Joker Folie à Deux isn't playing by the rules of traditional comic book movie formulas. This isn't an action film, CGI spectacle, or important thread to a connective cinematic universe. It's just one movie, and that's it. And something tells me it's not going to be the happy ending fans are building up in their heads either. Joker Folie à Deux is most definitely ending with a blaze of glory, and possibly betrayal, and I cannot wait for the mayhem this October when the movie arrives. But what do you think? Could Joker 2 be the next big DC masterpiece, or is it going to be another messy trial and error for the studio again? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Atomic Vision, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.
I'm here, bitch! And I brought favors for everybody!
Oh my god. Yeah. What was that?
Don't let him in. What? Don't let him in.